Burkina Faso doesn't have roads. It has scars, gashes of dust and rock, where Chinese trucks haul lithium, the mineral powering your phone, your car, and Beijing's global empire, out of the earth. But 2 years back, a 35-year-old soldier named Ibrahim Traoré decided to rewrite the rules. With a gun on his hip and a nation's fury at his back, he seized those mines, not for glory, not for greed, for a $5,000 electric car. Elon Musk, the billionaire who sends rockets to Mars, saw an opening. He sent engineers to the Sahara, promising a factory where Burkina Faso hands, not robots, would build EVs. China retaliated by plunging cities into darkness, cutting power to Traoré's fledgling plants. Now Burkina Faso's deserts buzz with Tesla drones and Chinese satellites, circling like vultures. This isn't innovation, it's insurgency, a war where the weapons are batteries, the soldiers are engineers, and the prize is the soul of a continent. Traoré gambles his presidency, Musk risks his empire. China? It never loses. But in the Sahara there's a saying sand remembers. It buries kings, empires, and hubris. Ask the French. Ask the jihadists. Now, ask Musk what happens when a soldier fights, not for a country, but for a future. Burkina Faso, a landlocked nation of 20 million, where the sun bleaches bones and the earth hides a secret, lithium. The mineral powering your phone, your car, and the 21st century's thirst for clean energy. But here, there are no paved highways, no stable electricity, no schools in half its villages. Only sand, sweat, and $1 trillion worth of lithium beneath its soil, controlled not by Burkina Faso hands, but by Beijing. China owns Africa's mines, its roads, its debt. For decades, it traded loans for lithium, flooding the continent with cheap cars and cheaper promises. Then came Ibrahim Traoré, a soldier who seized power in a midnight coup, vowing to reclaim what colonialism stole. And Elon Musk, the tech titan who never met a risk he wouldn't take. In 2023, these three forces collided. Traoré needed to break China's grip. Musk needed lithium cheaper than dirt. Together, they bet on a $5,000 electric car built in Burkina Faso's deserts, a direct threat to Beijing's dominance. But China doesn't lose. Not in Africa. Not anywhere. This is the story of a partnership forged in desperation and ambition. Can a soldier president who fights with a pistol on his hip outmaneuver the world's second-largest economy, or is this alliance a suicide mission? A footnote in China's relentless rise. Stay until the end to uncover who wins and what it means for the rest of us. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to African Stories 24/7. The desert keeps its secrets. We won't. The Sahara does not compromise. It burns, it starves, it erases. In Burkina Faso, where temperatures claw past 120 degrees and drought hollows villages into ghost towns, survival is not a choice, it's a war. And Ibrahim Traoré, a 35-year-old soldier who seized power in a midnight coup, knows war better than peace. Traoré did not storm the presidential palace in Ouagadougou to recycle the old playbook of empty speeches and foreign handouts. His predecessors had knelt to China, France, and the World Bank, trading lithium mines for loans that vanished into offshore accounts. But Traoré, a man raised in a mud brick home with no running water, saw lithium differently. Buried beneath Burkina Faso's dunes lay enough white gold to power 500 million electric car batteries. To Traoré, this wasn't just a mineral, it was a weapon. In early 2023, he made his move. Under the cover of a sandstorm, Burkina Faso troops surrounded China's largest lithium mine in Ganzurgo. No shots were fired, no warnings issued. Traoré's soldiers simply raised the Burkina flag and handed the Chinese foreman a letter. The land is ours. The lithium is ours. The future will be ours. Beijing called it theft. Traoré called it justice. Elon Musk does not sleep. He schemes. By 2023, Tesla's grip on the electric car market was slipping. Chinese rivals like BYD flooded Asia and Europe with EVs half the price of a Model Y. Musk's solution: batteries. Cheaper, denser, faster. But to build them, he needed lithium, and China controlled 80% of the world's refined supply. Then came Traoré's coup. Leaked emails reveal Musk's team began monitoring Burkina Faso's lithium reserves within hours of the takeover. To outsiders, Traoré was a reckless soldier. To Musk, he was a loophole. Burkina Faso's lithium was untapped, unpriced, and thanks to Traoré's defiance, untethered from China. In March 2023, a Tesla jet landed in Ouagadougou. No press, no fanfare. Just engineers in cargo pants and a contract that promised Burkina Faso 30% of Tesla's lithium profits if Traoré handed over the mines. But Traoré refused. "We are not a quarry," he told Musk's team. "According to aides, we are a nation. You want our lithium? Build here. Hire us. Sell our cars." Musk, who rarely takes no for an answer, said yes. Beijing does not forgive. It calculates, for 20 years, China had turned Africa into a private warehouse, draining its cobalt, bribing its leaders, and drowning its markets in cheap cars. Burkina Faso was no exception. Chinese mines extracted $3 billion in gold and lithium annually. In return, Burkina Faso got potholed roads and a power grid that failed twice a day. Then Traoré and Musk shook hands. The leaked contract hit Beijing's Politburo like a grenade. Tesla would build a factory in Ouagadougou. Burkina workers would mine lithium, assemble batteries, and produce a 5000 electric car, a direct rival to China's 7,000 BYD Seagull. But the real threat was the precedent. If a penniless nation like Burkina Faso could defy China, so could Nigeria, Kenya, the continent. China's response was swift, surgical, and silent. A diplomatic cable from Beijing to its Ouagadougou embassy contained 4 words: "This will not stand." The next day, Burkina Faso's power plants, funded by Chinese loans and operated by Chinese engineers, shut down. Hospitals, schools, and water pumps went dark. Traoré's lithium mines, reliant on Chinese-built generators, ground to a halt. But Traoré had survived jihadist ambushes and coups. Blackouts didn't scare him. He ordered soldiers to seize the generators. Wars are not always fought with bullets. In Burkina Faso, the first shot was a tweet. On April 15, 2023, Musk posted a photo of Traoré standing beside a Tesla engineer at the Ganzur gold mine. The caption, "Africa's lithium will power African dreams." China's state media exploded. "Musk is a neo-colonialist," declared the Global Times. "Traoré is a traitor," screamed Xinhua. But the real retaliation was quieter. The following week, Tesla engineers reported corrupted files, dead servers, and malware-laced schematics for the Burkina EV. Suspicions fell on Chinese hackers, though no proof emerged. Meanwhile, drones, cheap, off-the-shelf models sold by Chinese retailers, began circling the mine. They carried no bombs, only cameras. Traoré's response: he ordered the construction of the factory's first wing, a skeletal frame of steel and defiance, directly atop the reclaimed lithium pits. "Let them watch," he told his generals. Ibrahim Traoré does not dream. He plans. By May 2023, Burkina teenagers were training on Tesla's battery software, farmers traded hose for hard hats, mining lithium under the Sahara's glare, and Musk's engineers, stripped of their usual Silicon Valley comforts, navigated sand-clogged keyboards and scorpion infestations. But Traoré knew China's patience would snap. So did Musk. In a private video call leaked to aides, Musk warned Traoré, "They'll escalate. They always do." Traoré's reply: "Let them." He had already stockpiled diesel for generators, armed guards around the mines, and a backup deal with Russia for solar panels. Burkina Faso had no allies, no navy, no wealth, but it had lithium, and for now, that was enough. By June 2023, the first prototype of the Burkina EV rolled out of the factory, a boxy solar-charged hatchback with sandproof tires and a battery stamped "Made in Ouagadougou." Tesla's engineers called it primitive. Musk called it perfect, but perfection has enemies. The next morning, Chinese customs agents in Lagos seized a shipment of lithium, bound for Burkina Faso. The reason? Suspected illegal mining. It was a lie, but it worked. Traoré's factory stalled, yet in Ouagadougou, the soldier president smiled. He had anticipated this. Months earlier, he'd ordered miners to stockpile lithium in hidden desert caches. "China thinks we need their roads to move our minerals," he told aides. "We have camels." As the world's superpowers circled, Traoré and Musk faced a truth. Their alliance was a house of cards in a hurricane. China had drones, hackers, and Africa's debt in its fist. Tesla had grit and a billionaire's ego. Burkina Faso, it had sand, sweat, and a president who'd rather die than kneel. But in the Sahara, even the wind betrays. On July 4, 2023, a sandstorm swallowed the Ganzur mine. Chinese drones vanished from radars. Tesla engineers lost contact with headquarters, and Traoré, standing knee-deep in swirling dust, received a call. The voice spoke Mandarin. The line went dead. Revolution rarely starts with a bang. Sometimes it begins with a spreadsheet in a dimly lit Ouagadougou office. Tesla engineers huddled over laptops, their screens glowing with numbers that defied logic. $5,000. The price of a used Toyota Corolla in Lagos, the annual salary of a Burkina Faso miner, and now the target cost of a car that could upend China's electric empire. The blueprint was audacious: a hatchback with a solar roof, sand-resistant tires, and a battery made from raw lithium mined in Burkina Faso. No touchscreens, no self-driving gimmicks. Just a steel frame, 4 wheels, and a plug that could draw power from the Sahara's endless sun. On paper, it was genius. In reality, it was a suicide pact. Tesla's engineers quickly learned that Burkina Faso's lithium was cursed. Unrefined, laced with impurities, and scattered in remote dunes guarded by jihadist factions. The first prototype battery exploded during testing, melting a workbench. The second caught fire under the desert sun, but Musk, watching via satellite from Texas, refused to quit. "Burn the playbook," he ordered. "Build something that survives here." By May 2023, they had it. A battery encased in recycled iron, cooled by wind tunnels, and charged by solar panels bolted to the factory roof. It weighed twice as much as a Tesla Powerwall and had half the range. But it worked. Barely. Traoré called it the people's car. Musk called it the Model T of Africa. Beijing called it a declaration of war. Midnight in Ganzhou, a moonless sky. A convoy of military trucks idled outside China's largest lithium mine, their headlights off. Inside, Chinese engineers slept in air-conditioned trailers, unaware that their world was about to collapse. At 3:17 a.m., Burkina Faso troops stormed the compound. No bullets fired, no alarms tripped, just the crunch of boots on gravel and the silent lowering of China's red flag. By dawn, the mine's gates bore a fresh sign: Propriété de l'État Burkina Faso, property of the Burkina Faso state. When Beijing's diplomats awoke to the news, their response was swift. By noon, $2 billion in loans, funding roads, hospitals, and the nation's crumbling power grid, vanished from Burkina Faso's accounts. The message was clear: starve them out. But Traoré had prepared for this. Weeks earlier, he'd diverted diesel reserves to the mines, stockpiled rice in underground warehouses, and ordered soldiers to guard water wells. "They think we'll beg," he told his cabinet. "We'll build." China retaliated with precision. Customs agents in Durban and Mombasa began rejecting Burkina Faso exports: gold, cotton, cashews. Without ports or allies, Burkina Faso's economy teetered. Salaries went unpaid. Food prices tripled. Yet Traoré's miners kept digging, their paychecks replaced by promises of a future built on lithium. Hope is a fragile currency. In Okadou's slums, where children sift garbage for scraps, Tesla's $5,000 car became a mirage of modernity. Young men graffitied walls with the hashtag Musk for Africa. Students skipped school to protest Chinese robbery outside the embassy. But in the villages, where elders measured time by droughts and funerals, suspicion festered. In Kaya, a dusty town north of the capital, a village chief gathered his people beneath a baobab tree. "First the French took our land," he said, gripping a rusted colonial-era rifle. "Then the Chinese took our minerals. Now, Musk, we trade one master for another." That night, protesters burned a Tesla flag outside the mine. Traoré didn't flinch. He ordered state TV to air footage of Burkina Faso engineers, many fresh from vocational schools assembling battery packs. "This is not Musk's project," the narrator declared. "This is ours." But the streets told a different story. In Bobo Dioulasso, rioters chanted, "Lithium for food." In Fata Ngorma, a Tesla truck was pelted with rocks. The soldier president's calculus was cold but clear: sacrifice the present to secure the future. Let the hungry rage today if it meant their children drove electric cars tomorrow. Wars are won in the shadows. By June 2023, Burkina Faso's factories hummed by day and died by night. Chinese hackers had infiltrated the power grid, triggering blackouts the moment solar panels went dormant. Tesla engineers worked under floodlights, cursing as servers crashed and welders stalled. Musk's solution: Starlink. Overnight, hundreds of satellite dishes sprouted around the mines, bypassing Burkina's crippled infrastructure. The factory's walls glowed with internet-powered LEDs, drawing moths and drones. Chinese-made quadcopters buzzed overhead, snapping photos of the site. Traoré ordered them shot down. But the drones kept coming, cheaper than bullets, endless as the sand. Then came the rumors. Whispers in Ouagadougou markets claimed Chinese agents were bribing miners to sabotage equipment. A conveyor belt snapped. a lithium crusher jammed with scrap metal. Traoré responded by posting soldiers inside the mines, their rifles slung over shoulders as they watched men sort rocks. Trust dissolved. Output slowed. Every rebellion has its Judas. In early July, a Burkina Faso engineer named Adama Zongo vanished from the Tesla site, taking blueprints for the $5,000 car. His body was found 3 days later in a desert ravine, a bullet in his skull. Beside him lay a burner phone with a single outgoing call, Beijing's area code. Traoré buried Zongo in an unmarked grave, fearing his funeral would become a spectacle. Musk, ever pragmatic, tweeted, "Sacrifice is inevitable." The next day, a video surfaced on Telegram. Masked men flanked by Chinese-made rifles stood in front of a burning Tesla truck. Traoré, they hissed in accented French. "Your cars will ash, jihadists, Chinese proxies." Traoré didn't wait to find out. He ordered the factory locked down, workers confined to barracks, and lithium shipments rerouted through goat trails. But the desert has no secrets. By midnight, another drone hovered above the site. This one dropped a package. Inside Zongo's missing blueprints, splattered with blood. By August 2023, the $5,000 car had a name, the Faso Falcon, and a launch date, New Year's Day. But in Beijing, Politburo members chuckled. "A falcon cannot fly without feathers," one leaked memo read. They were right. On September 12th, a sandstorm swallowed the Ganzhou mine. Chinese drones retreated. Tesla's Starlink faltered, and in the chaos, a convoy of unmarked trucks breached the factory's perimeter. They took nothing, destroyed nothing, just spray-painted a message on the wall in dripping red paint. "Africa belongs to China," written in Chinese. When Traoré arrived, he stared at the graffiti, then ordered it left untouched. "Let them see," he said. "Let them remember." But as he turned to leave, a soldier shouted. Buried in the sand near the gate was a package, wrapped in Chinese newspaper. Inside, a single lithium battery, stamped with a BYD logo, fully charged. In war, the first casualty is truth. The second, control. By October 2023, Burkina Faso's lithium revolution was bleeding from 1,000 invisible cuts. Tesla's servers in Ouagadougou flickered with phantom code, malware that erased blueprints, corrupted battery schematics, and left engineers staring at screens filled with static. The culprit, untraceable. The target, obvious. Chinese hackers operating under codenames like Sandstorm and Red Camel weaponized Burkina Faso's own infrastructure. They hijacked solar inverters to overheat lithium batteries. They rerouted Starlink signals to broadcast propaganda. They even hacked into the factory's PA system, blaring Mandarin folk songs at midnight. But the true horror lived in the silence. One morning, Tesla engineers arrived to find every drone, once their eyes in the sky, crashed in the sand, their circuits fried by a pulse of code. The drone's final footage, a single frame, graffitied onto their cameras. "Africa belongs to China." Traoré ordered the factory's Wi-Fi severed. Engineers reverted to pen and paper, sketching battery designs on napkins. Musk, orbiting ego and desperation, airdropped 50 satellite phones. "Use Morse code if you have to," he texted his team. But in the desert, even sand has ears. Elon Musk does not apologize. He escalates. On November 1st, 2023, as Chinese state media labeled him a thief in a Tesla, Musk fired back with a tweet. "Africa's lithium will power African dreams. Deal with it." The post went nuclear. In Beijing, censors scrubbed it within minutes, but not before it was screenshotted, memed, and broadcast on Burkina Faso radio. China's Global Times retaliated with a front-page op-ed, "Musk the Cecil Rhodes of lithium." The comparison was deliberate. Rhodes, the British colonizer, who carved Africa into mines and misery. Musk didn't flinch. He doubled down, tweeting a photo of the Faso Falcon prototype charging under the Sahara sun. The caption, "The future is solar. The future is African." Beijing's response was not a tweet. It was a signature on a $10 billion deal with Zimbabwe for lithium rights, undercutting Burkina Faso's prices by 300%. Traoré's miners now competed with robot-operated pits, 2,000 miles south. But Musk had a gambit. That same week, SpaceX launched 60 Starlink satellites over Africa, not for internet, but to map lithium deposits. Burkina Faso's sands, once dismissed as barren, lit up on Tesla screens like a starfield. "We're not mining lithium," Musk told investors. "We're harvesting sunlight." Ibrahim Traoré does not build, he fortifies. While Musk battled in cyberspace, Traoré broke ground on 3 new factories, Not in cities, but atop the reclaimed lithium mines themselves. If they want war, he told his generals, we'll build tanks out of cars. The sights were brutal. One factory rose in Ganzorgo, where temperatures melted solder, another in Djibo, a jihadist besieged town where workers wore bulletproof vests, the third in Fata Nguruma, where Chinese drones rained nails onto solar panels. Traoré's strategy was merciless. He conscripted unemployed miners into construction crews, paid in food rations and promises. He stripped copper from abandoned Chinese power lines to wire the factories. And when Beijing's hackers disabled crane controls, he ordered soldiers to lift steel beams by hand. Every bolt they sabotage, he declared on state TV, we replace with 10, but defiance has a cost. In Djibo, jihadists ambushed a convoy carrying lithium, slaughtering drivers and torching trucks. Traoré responded by arming factory guards with AK-47 CES. Tesla's lawyers panicked. Musk shrugged. Add bulletproof glass to the options list, he quipped. By December 2023, the Faso Falcon had a battery that could survive the Sahara, and a problem that couldn't. During a live demo, the car's solar roof malfunctioned, roasting the interior. The video went viral. China's influencers mocked it as the Falcon Flambe. Tesla's stock dipped. Musk, ever the showman, spun disaster into drama. He live-streamed engineers dumping sand onto the battery, submerging it in water, even ramming it with a donkey cart. The battery survived. Perfection is boring, he tweeted. Revolution is messy. Orders trickled in. Nigeria, 100 cars. Senegal, 50. France, ironically 10 for research. But China wasn't done. Hours after the first shipment left Ouagadougou, Tesla's logistics AI glitched. Trucks routed through jihadist territory. Trains diverted to Chinese-controlled ports. Musk accused Beijing of algorithmic colonialism. Traoré's solution, Turner, horses. In a scene ripped from the 19th century, Burkina herders loaded lithium onto mules, trekking 200 miles through bandit-filled dunes to the Ghanaian border. The operation took weeks. It worked. By January 2024, the cyber war reached its grotesque peak. Tesla's factory robots, designed to weld car frames, suddenly lurched to life, swinging arms like sledgehammers. Workers dove for cover as metal crunched metal. The cause? A malware named Iron Dragon, coded to mimic human clumsiness. Musk's engineers jury-rigged a fix, unplugging the robots, welding by hand. But the message was clear. China could turn innovation into farce with a keystroke. Traoré, ever pragmatic, repurposed the broken robots into scarecrows, lining the factory perimeter. Let the drones see, he said. That night, a Chinese satellite snapped infrared photos of the site. Analysts later noticed a figure in the shadows, a man in a Tesla jacket, staring at the sky. His face was pixelated, his posture defiant. On February 14, 2024, Valentine's Day, Burkina Faso's power grid died. Not from hackers or jihadists, from a sandstorm so vast, it blotted out the sun. Solar panels went dark, batteries drained. The factories fell silent, but in the darkness, a backup generator sputtered to life, powered not by diesel, but by a prototype fusion of lithium and hydrogen. A Musk Traoré moonshot, built in secret. As the storm raged, engineers gathered around the flickering reactor. It hummed. It held. Then, at 3:03 a.m., an alarm blared. Radiation levels spiked. The core was melting down. Workers fled. Soldiers stood their ground. And Traoré, watching via drone feed from Ouagadougou, whispered a prayer he hadn't uttered since childhood. The screen cuts to black. A single Tesla logo glows red. Then silence. Radiation does not negotiate. By dawn on February 15, 2024, the lithium-hydrogen reactor had cooled, its core stabilized by Tesla engineers working in lead-lined suits. But the damage was done. Traoré's secret weapon, a fusion of African lithium and Musk's hubris, had nearly incinerated his revolution. The world held its breath. Analysts predicted retreat. Pundits preached surrender. But in the Sahara, where survival is measured in scars, Traoré saw opportunity. Let them call it a failure, he told his generals. We'll call it a lesson. By noon, bulldozers carved a pit around the reactor, burying it under 30 feet of sand. Above it, workers poured concrete. Below it, they built something new. Midnight, March 1, 2024. Ouagadougou streets lay silent, curfewed intense. But inside the Ganzur mine, spotlights blazed. Traoré, flanked by soldiers in ash-streaked uniforms, stood before a tarp-covered object. Behind him, a banner read, "Nothing forgotten, nothing forgiven." He yanked the tarp. There it was, the Faso Falcon 2.0, a boxy solar-powered EV with tires clawed like desert scorpions, and a battery forged from reclaimed lithium, mined, refined, and assembled, without a single Chinese screw. Traoré ran a hand over its hood, pockmarked from sandblast tests. "This," he said, "is our AK-47. The car was crude. The doors creaked. The seats smelled of burnt rubber. But it worked." Musk, watching via livestream from Texas, ordered a tweet, "The future has a new engine. It's called Defiance." China's response? A single phrase, leaked from Beijing: "Crush it." Elon Musk does not ship cars. He launches them. On March 15, 2024, a SpaceX Falcon Heavy rocket, designed to colonize Mars, blasted off from Cape Canaveral. Its payload? Not satellites, not rovers. 10 Faso Falcons, crammed into the nose cone. Analysts choked. "He's insane," declared Bloomberg. "He's genius," countered the Wall Street Journal. The rockets landed in Berlin, Lagos, and Nairobi, where the cars rolled out to crowds and cameras. Musk's message was clear: if you block our roads, we'll fly. But the true madness lay in the math. Shipping a 5,000 Carvia rocket cost 5,000 Carvia rocket cost 500,000. Musk didn't care. "This isn't commerce," he told shareholders. "It's theater, and the world is watching." Orders flooded in. Kenya, 200 cars. South Africa, 150. Germany, again 50. Each vehicle came with a dash plaque, "Made in Burkina Faso," fueled by the sun. China's theaters played a different film. State TV aired clips of Burkina children eating dirt, juxtaposed with Musk's rockets. Colonialism 2.0. The captions read, "Empires do not yield, they erase." On April 1, 2024, Beijing's ambassadors delivered letters to 54 nations. The demand Burkina Faso's EVs or lose access to Chinese markets, phones, cars, medicines. The threat, economic quarantine. Smaller nations folded. Rwanda, Chad, Malawi, all barred the Faso Falcon. But Nigeria, Africa's giant, hesitated. Its president owned a Tesla. His son drove a BYD. China tightened the vise. In Lagos, customs agents found explosives in a shipment of Burkina lithium in Accra. Chinese banks called in Ghana's loans, and in Ouagadougou, Traoré's factory stuttered as circuit boards, shipped from Shanghai, mysteriously failed. Musk's rebuttal. A midnight livestream from the Ganzur mine. Wearing a dust mask and holding a blowtorch, he welded a battery casing. "Your move, Beijing," he muttered. It was not diplomacy, it was war. By May 2024, Burkina Faso's lithium mines birthed 100 cars a week. Traoré's soldiers drove them. His ministers gifted them to tribal chiefs. Even jihadists, lured by the promise of black market resales, stole them. But China's noose tightened. In Niger, Chinese paid mercenaries bombed a convoy of Falcons. In Cameroon, ports refused Burkina trucks. And in Ouagadougou, the lights flickered. Not from hackers, but exhaustion. Traoré's solution: a battery swap. Every Falcon owner could trade depleted cells for fresh ones at army outposts. The catch: they had to mine raw lithium for an hour. "You want power?" State radio declared. "Dig." Citizens complied. Students skipped school to shovel sand. Grandparents sifted pebbles for lithium traces. Even Musk, during a surprise visit, grabbed a pickaxe. The photo went viral. The billionaire drenched in sweat, a Burkina child, teaching him to spot lithium ore. China's counterpost, a satellite image of Traoré's mines, circled in red, a mass grave from a jihadist attack. Dawn broke over Burkina Faso on July 1, 2024, with a sky the color of burnt copper. Overnight rains had washed molten lithium from the atmosphere, leaving puddles that shimmered like mercury. Children dipped sticks into the metallic pools, tracing shapes in the sand. Elders whispered of curses. Traoré called it a sign. By noon, 100 Faso Falcons idled outside the Ganzur mine, their solar panels glinting under a veiled sun. Each car carried a lithium battery stamped with Traoré's face and a dash plaque, "Born in the Sahara, made for the world." Their destination: Lagos. Their mission: prove Burkina Faso could not be erased. The convoy rolled out at dusk, flanked by soldiers in pickup trucks and Tesla drones buzzing overhead like mechanical hawks. China's response was instant. GPS signals died, maps froze. The lead driver veered into a dune, cursing as sand swallowed his wheels. Musk, monitoring from orbit, rerouted the drones via Starlink. The convoy lurched forward, guided by satellites Beijing couldn't hack. A 21st century underground railroad, powered by silicon and spite, midnight July 2nd. The Sahara's chill bit through metal and bone. Near the Niger border, the drones detected heat signatures, a dozen motorcycles, armed with rocket launchers, closing fast. Jihadists, Chinese mercenaries. The distinction didn't matter. Tesla's drones dive-bombed, firing rubber bullets and tear gas. The bikes scattered. One exploded, lighting the desert in a fireball that painted the dunes blood red. The convoy sped on, drivers gripping wheels stained with sweat and lithium dust. By dawn, they reached Niamey. Nigerian troops, bribed with promises of discounted Falcons, refueled the cars. Traoré soldiers swapped batteries, their fingers raw from mining. A Tesla engineer collapsed, dehydrated. His replacement? A 14-year-old girl who'd assembled batteries in the dark. "Keep moving," crackled the radio. They did. While the world fixated on the convoy, the real blow landed in Fata Nagurma. At 3:17 a.m., a fireball ripped through Factory 3, reducing it to twisted steel and ash. No casualties, no claims, just a crater where lithium batteries once charged under the stars. Traoré arrived at dawn, boots crunching over glass shards. He knelt, sifted the debris, and pulled out a half-melted circuit board, made in Shenzhen. "Shadows did this," he told the cameras. Musk, ever pragmatic, tweeted a photo of the wreckage. "We rebuild." By sunset, bulldozers cleared the site. By midnight, workers erected tents. By dawn, the whir of drills echoed anew. But in Beijing, Politburo members smirked. One leaked memo read, "Burn a hut, they rebuild. Burn 1,000, they break." Traoré burned nothing. He printed t-shirts, "Fata Strong, July 4th, 2024. The convoy hit the Nigerian border at noon. Ahead, a mile-long queue of trucks, stalled by security checks. Behind, Chinese drones, circling like vultures. Traoré's gamble, bribery. Soldiers unloaded 10 Falcons, gifting them to border guards. The gates creaked open. But as the first car crossed, gunfire erupted, not from ahead, from behind. A drone, marked with China's flag, strafed the convoy. Tires burst. Windows shattered. A battery exploded, lighting the sky green. Tesla's drones retaliated, kamikazing into the attacker. The clash lasted seconds. When the smoke cleared, 97 cars remained. 3 lay dead. The drivers honked horns, a dissonant funeral march, and rolled on. July 5th, 2024. Lagos sprawled ahead, a maze of sweat and steel. The convoy snaked through slums, past shanties where children chased the cars, hands outstretched. At the presidential villa, Nigeria's leader test drove a Falcon, grinning as cameras flashed. "Africa has arrived," he declared. Orders poured in. Kenya, 500 cars. Morocco, 300. South Africa, 1,000. Even Europe, hedging its bets, 200. But in Beijing, the Politburo convened. No leaks, no memos, just a photo, released hours later. China's premier standing before a new EV, priced at $4,999. The BYD Dragon, August 2024. Burkina Faso's factories hummed, their parking lots filled with Falcons, bound for Algiers, Dakar, Cairo. Traoré toured the mines, now patrolled by drones built in Ouagadougou. Musk launched a Tesla showroom in Lagos, its walls lined with lithium batteries and bulletproof glass. But in the Sahara, shadows stirred. A mine in Djibo went dark, its workers vanished. A Tesla rocket, en route to Accra, veered off course and crashed in the Atlantic. And in Beijing, a meeting adjourned with a vow. This is just the beginning. Today, the Faso Falcon rolls down 1,000 roads. It stalls in sand. It overheats in rain. It breaks down more than it breaks free. But in Burkina Faso, where the average citizen earns $2 a day, it is not a car. It is proof. Proof that a soldier can stare down empires, that a billionaire can bet on the desperate, that lithium pried from the earth by bare hands can spark a revolution. China hasn't lost, but Burkina Faso hasn't bowed. And in the desert, where the wind erases all traces, that is enough. The lithium war has no borders, no truce, no end. Burkina Faso's Faso Falcons now sputter down Lagos highways and Nairobi backroads. Their solar panels cracked but charging. China's drones stalk the Sahara, snapping photos of Traoré's new mines, deeper, darker, defiant, and Elon Musk, ever restless, has already broken ground in the Congo, where cobalt veins promise another revolution or ruin. This isn't about cars, it's about power. Who owns the minerals beneath our feet? Who controls the wires in our walls? Who decides whether the green revolution lifts nations or loots them? Burkina Faso dared to fight. Musk dared to gamble. China dares to crush. The next front is coming. Congo's forests hide trenches. Indonesia's nickel pits simmer. And in Silicon Valley, algorithms plot cheaper, faster, hungrier ways to mine the future. If you think this war ends here, you haven't been paying attention. The desert remembers, the drones watch, the batteries charge. Want to see who wins the next round? Smash that like button, share this documentary, and subscribe to African Stories 24/7. The Sahara has more secrets, and they're charging fast.